Parents that are aware of their children masturbating, what weird routines do they do to try and hide the fact that they are doing it? One time I was called to dinner after I had just finished masturbating. I went downstairs and my mom asked me what was on my shirt. I looked down and to my extreme horror my shirt was absolutely blasted with CM. She gets some of it on her finger. I told her that it must have been snot from the dog. I'm pretty sure she knew. When I was 14 my uncle was home visiting and my parents and him were all out in the living room chatting. So it's the middle of the afternoon. What better time to beat off, right? I'd usually hear if my parents were walking towards my room when I was doing it so I could quickly grab a blanket or some crap and turn on RuneScape. This time I don't hear my uncle creep up to the door. He slams on it and screams, "Stop freaking jacking off, I need something from my room." Forget what it was. Tape or something. I proceeded crap a minimum of 6 bricks while grabbing a pair of shorts and rushing to open the door. I open it and he comes in laughing. Just messing with you, sees I hand him what he wanted and he walks out and says, "Seriously though," during a family gathering and laughs as he heads back to my parents. I'm gonna reverse this one. My mother could swear my youngest brother was yanking it in the bathroom. He just goes in there with his phone for an hour, so I'm thinking I have to talk to this boy and tell him what's up. So I do. Turns out, yeah, he doesn't wank it in the bathroom. He just uses the bathroom as an escape. He goes in and does his business, but gets caught up playing Candy Crush or Fruit Ninja. According to him, he masturbates in his computer chair like a normal 21st century male. I am exactly the same way. I'll lose track of time and wind up staying in there until my legs fall asleep. It's a combination of peace and quiet and too lazy to get up. Not actually mine, but a friend told, if I unplug the modem while it's flashing like heck and I hear screaming my son is playing, if I don't hear a word he's fapping. That's just cruel. My dad once yelled at my brother and me about the wastebasket next to the family computer. Freaking empty that trash. It smells like freaking sperm in there. That's when I knew that he knew. He could smell it. I was at my friend's house when I was like in 9th grade. We were LANing. Anyways, I had my back to the wall, and you couldn't see what I had on my monitor. I was watching P as my friend's mom walked in doing her chores. She gave me a funny smirk look as she was taking out the laundry. A few moments later my friend came into the room and started laughing. "Dude, I can see you watching P." I turn around and there's a freaking mirror right there. This one makes me cringe and laugh at the same time. When I was a kid, really young, my friend's mom walked in on 3 of us dancing around the room to the bar scene music from Star Wars with our pants around our ankles, just having fun, showing off and being stupid. She was not amused. He goes to sleep and then always after 15 minutes, he goes to restroom and washes his hands. Doesn't pee. I know this because there is no flushing sound. Showers all the time. When the massaging shower head broke, I replaced it with an old-fashioned one. My water bill went as low as the kids' spirits. Slightly off topic, but I heard about a guy who munched snorker bread, a crispy bread, so nobody would hear the fap sounds at night. In a small room with 20 other guys, all doing their military duty, they kept up with his crap for a couple of nights until they finally had enough and took his blanket and threw it in a corner, leaving him naked with a bread in one hand and his dong in the other. As a little girl, I noticed it felt very nice when I climbed poles. My parents explained to me where babies come from when I was 3, but I didn't put that together. I assumed I was the only one who got this special feeling. My elementary school had several large poles in the recess area, and I would regularly climb them and stay there the entire recess. Occasionally teachers would ask me what I was doing. I was a quiet kid, and it's kind of embarrassing to realize now that I was stroking off in front of the entire school. I heard my son fapping in the bathroom once, so I asked, "What are you doing?" just to freak him out, and he yelled back, "Homework." My little brother, 15 years old, needs a new jar of Vaseline every few weeks for his chapped lips. Get him lip balm, just to mess with him. I'm personally hoping to avoid this issue by telling my son, if you need some quiet time, do me a favor, lock your door, clean up after yourself, and if you ever have any issues, talk to me. That along with the masturbation is normal. I'm hoping to not have to accidentally stumble into a room with that smell or snap laundry in half. Having said that, I fully expect to have to roto-rooter my tub out in a year or two. Sigh. If you ever have any issues, talk to me. DIT's not working today. I used to have this Mr. Potato Head back massager when I was little. You'd turn it on by pressing his hat down and he became a giant vibrator. Essentially, I would masturbate furiously with that little guy and thought no one was any the wiser to what I was doing. There's no way they didn't hear him buzzing in the middle of the night. Pre-locked door, clear bedroom floor, post-locked door, underpants sitting in middle of carpet. That's just super obvious. Maybe he's okay with you knowing. When I was in high school, I'd use my sister's computer in her room because she was away at college, and at the time I didn't have my own computer. My mom worked until the early evening, so I would often use the couple of hours between when I got home from school and when my mom got home from work to look at P on my sister's computer and jerk off. In hindsight, it was a strange thing to do for several reasons, but at the time I was too much of a teenager to think twice about it. So one day, I'm perusing a favorite website of mine when I start feeling tired and decide to take a quick nap on the floor. So with an image of a naked redhead on the computer screen and my dong sticking out of my fly, I went to sleep knowing I'd still have plenty of time when I woke up to finish before my mom got home. A short while later, I was woken up by my mom knocking on the door, which I had been smart enough to close. I scramble, zipping up my pants and closing the tab. I opened the door and my mom was crying. She had come home early after she had received a call from the vet confirming our dog, who had been sick, had terminal cancer. But the thing is, at that time my mom almost never knocked on doors. She just opened them, or she'd knock once then immediately open it without waiting for a response. We didn't have locks on our doors. So I've always wondered if my mom came home that day, opened the door and saw me sleeping half naked on the floor with pee on the computer screen and just said nope, closed the door, knocked loud enough to wake me up, and decided to never mention it again. If you got a computer next birthday, Christmas, she saw. Not a parent, but when I was a kid, whenever my parents knocked on my bedroom door, I'd always say I'm getting dressed, don't come in. It wasn't until I was much older that logic took over the hormones and I realized they either knew I was masturbating or they thought I was some kind of clothes-obsessed 14-year-old boy who couldn't figure out which darn outfit wouldn't make my hips look fat. They knew. The power shower was a dead giveaway. My normally quick 10-minute shower kit turned into 45-minute hot water hogging W. If you knock on the door during said power shower, he flips out and yells at you about invading his time and how teenage boys need longer showers because I sweat now, because he never sweat before. Anyways, I try to leave him alone, but every now and again, for all the times he ruined my lovemaking by beating the door down over a paper cut or a lost remote, I, like a good parent should, all but kick that freaking door down, because now you know what it is like not to finish. Most of these things are things I do, yet has nothing to do with masturbation. Long showers, frequent toilet visits, playing music, reading news sites, yep, stuff I do but not to cover up masturbating. Speaking of, mothers can smell it. When I was younger and after a good fap session with windows closed, I usually went to bed with my fap sock. Her name is Annie, well hidden. I just realized this now, but my mom used to come to my room the next morning and say smells like young stallions in here : I thought she just meant that as a compliment. Beware the infamous danger wank, where teens will put themselves in a risky situation. That is, the odds of someone walking in a high and rub one out before anyone gets there. Beware. Or the infamous suicide wank, when you're having a wank just before blowing the load. Shout out mom or dad, then try and finish the job before they get into your room. I threw a towel over the basement window in my parents' house because that's where the computer was. My father asks, "Son, why is there a towel there?" Mike, my friend down the street, was outside harassing me the other day, so I put that there to pee him off. Completely believable. Dang, I'm smooth. Should have said it was because of glare. Well, maybe no kids, but my wife does in the shower. She takes very long showers. I act like I don't know. One night I overheard her accidentally let out an OMG while the vibrating shower head was going. Randomly decides to go take a bath. Brings laptop so he can watch a TV show. I actually do bring my laptop in the bathroom for non-pee related reasons. In fact, I'm typing this from a toilet right now. He washes his own socks. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. I have really long showers and don't masturbate in them. I just like basking in the heat like some weird lizard creature. Getting into a hot car and letting the heat radiate all over your body is one of the best feelings in the world to me. Everyone calls me weird. Pooping 3 times in 1 hour is a pretty dead giveaway. Source: I used to poop 3 times in 1 hour. Maybe I was an overly observant teen, but back when I was a teenager I knew that the key to discreetness was fitting it into existing routines with no standout activities. My door was always closed and locked whether I was in it or not. I never used PC speakers, always headphones. The desk was positioned so that upon entering the room you only saw the back of the PC monitor and you had to walk around a desk to see the monitor, or more than my head, for that matter. Always had the TV on, even at night. Always threw away my own garbage with incriminating tissue surplus. Always took 10-20 seconds to open the door after a knock with lazy teenager huffs and puffs thrown in as I lazily made it to the door. Plenty of time to repant if that was an issue. I mean, if they really cared to know if I did it, they could tell by the mere fact that I was a teenager. But goddamn it, the when belonged to me. I will never forget the time when I went over to my friend's house when his parents were out of town. I come in, sit on his couch and turn on the TV. His laptop is in front of me. Whatever. There is a bottle of lotion on small table beside me. Whatever. There are tissues on the coffee table to the left. Whatever. I am watching TV with him for 30 minutes. Then some sex scene came on TV and I started thinking about it and I realize everything I would need to jack off is right here. It suddenly hits me and I jump up and yell, "This is your freaking masturbation station," and he admits it. Welp, throwaway cause this is relevant and hilarious in retrospect. I was a frisky teenage boy and I never really learned to use my hands much until I was older. Like my whole mindset was do the motions you really would as if it was for real happening. Anyway, I would rub on stuff and I had a giant collection of stuffed animals from when I was young. Rubbing on them eventually wasn't satisfying enough, so I took scissors and cut a few of them. Went to town. Not so bad. Okay, so I had this giant freaking Donkey Kong thing. Like life-sized, and I used that one, and boy oh boy did I go to town on Donkey Kong. Years later, we're moving out of the house and my dad offers to help me with my stuffed animals and suggests I give them to charity. I then freak out and just go nope. I got it, and like I was tossing them down from my bunk bed and he goes to pick up Donkey Kong and I just leap down and say no and I rip all of them out of his hands and just take them to the garbage. Never explained it and I'm sure he knew but just never brought it up or whatever. TL. DR. Gave Donkey Kong a banana. What's up with all the dong socks? Am I the only one thoughtful enough to bring in some TP? Not a parent here, but I think my mom and I both knew my habits. To this day she still says, "Bill, I am 81, can always use more socks." I'm really going to have to try this sock thing one day. I'm 27 and literally never have. Again, why the socks? Just why? My mom walked in on me once. She thought I was smoking pot and I closed out of the window real quick and she kept asking what I had in my hand, so finally I yelled back, "My dong." I took a lot of long showers. Midday, take a 45-minute shower. Just got out of the pool, 45-minute shower. Just woke up, 45-minute shower. Just got out of the shower, 45-minute shower. It was really obvious now thinking about it. Whenever my parents asked me why I was in the bathroom for so long and so frequently, I would just tell them I was masturbating to cover the fact that I was smoking. As a mother, my son's pillowcases shatter like glass when I put them in the washing machine. That's just nasty. Why would your son want to sleep on CM pillowcases? My 13-year-old nephew comes on his floor because where else am I gonna do it? He doesn't understand the concept of planning ahead or keeping Kleenex or toilet paper in his room. I told my sister about this and the look on her face when she realized that those weird dried spots on her son's bedroom floor was priceless. A few weeks after I told her about this, she was in my nephew's room and stepped in something wet. She looked at her sock and looked at my nephew and said, "Nephew's name. What did I just step in?" He looked at her and said, "Come on, mom. You know what it is? Apparently she screamed at him and told him quite a bit after that, and then texted me to tell me how traumatized she was. I had my potential grandchildren on my sock. All I could do was laugh. TF is wrong with your nephew? As the child in this scenario, I casually mentioned one day to my parents that I keep a toilet roll in my room because I find it hard to breathe on a nighttime because of snot in my nose, thinking it was an awkward enough admittance that they wouldn't assume it was anything else, until my mother said, "Oh, I know what teenage boys have that in their rooms for." I told the boy this last year, "Son, it's yours. Wash it as fast as you want. Water is way cheaper than babies. Boy showers a lot." Loudly playing Darude, Sandstorm to cover up the furious noises. Rhythmic jacking and strobe lights. Gets pretty furious in the middle there. Doesn't anyone have daughters here? My girls are young. They ask for privacy sometimes to be in their bedrooms. I'm like, go for it, kiddo. My son discovered himself very early on. I asked the doctor what I should do and she said I should explain that it's natural and that I shouldn't make him feel ashamed, but that I should explain that it's something we do only in private. Well, I think I drove that point home a little too well when we were talking one day about him being left home by himself. He's 7. It's not gonna happen. And I could watch anything I want on TV. Yes, you could. And I could say cuss words and not get in trouble. I giggle. Yes, buddy, I guess you could. Then he gasps. I could go upstairs and play with myself all I want up. Why, yes, I suppose you could. I had a special technique for dealing with parental intrusion when I was younger. Whenever confronted with a knock and a question from my dad or mom, I would always reply, "Stay out, I'm jerking it," or "I'm snorting lines." You want to know what's an anal teen or some variant on that theme? They knew I was masturbating sometime. But when? They couldn't know. I hid in plain sight. One of my friends had a housemate with a rather interesting routine. And he had, as far as I know, absolutely no idea that anyone else was aware of it. His first step, at least from what I could hear, would be to close his door and address some imaginary woman who had apparently sneaked inside when he wasn't looking. "Well, what are you doing here?" he'd say, his voice audible through the wall. "Aha. Oh, really? Well, I guess I'd better take my pants off." Then, a few seconds would pass, after which he would speak again. "So, how about you get naked, too? I'll just lay here and wait for you to be ready." "Oh, you're ready now? Well, go ahead and climb on top of me." Then, it would be several minutes before anything else would become audible. But then the next part of his routine would begin. Anyone within earshot would hear the guy's bedroom door open and then slam, after which he'd sprint down the hallway to the bathroom and slam that door. He'd be in there for a few minutes. The toilet would flush, and then we'd all be treated to a second performance of him slamming the door, running down the hall, and locking himself in his bedroom. So, in short order, his routine went like this. Click. "Oh, look, a sneaky woman. Now we're both naked." Silence. Slam. Rapid footsteps. Slam. Silence. Toilet flushing. Slam. More rapid footsteps. Slam. From what I've heard, he'd do this every night. At one point, someone suggested that he might have been talking to a webcam model or something, so they accidentally reset the router after hearing the guy's door close. But he went right through the same routine, talking to someone who wasn't there before beating a hasty retreat to the bathroom. TLDR. Imaginary intimacy. Dumb dialogue. Slamming and sprinting. The slams really made it. That must have been a joy to witness. I'd probably never stop laughing. My oldest daughter sometimes does it when watching TV, just out of boredom. She's 5. She'll sit there and just rub herself through her pants if she thinks no one is watching. We can always tell, because she gets really tense and her legs stick straight out. We usually just tell her that if she's going to do that, she needs to go in the privacy of her room. Sometimes she stops, sometimes she goes to her room. Can't really scold her for doing something most people do. Just make sure she understands it's something to do in private. One afternoon, one of our cats was sitting in her lap and she was petting it. Walked away, came back into the room and noticed her legs sticking straight out. She had her hands in her lap, under the cat. I walked right the frick out of the room and sent my wife to deal with that crap. Just nope. We tell our 2 sons the exact same thing. We just have massive laughs when the oldest, 3 1/2. Walks around with a CD on his dong. You have been visited by the wealth rat. Subscribe in 12 seconds and he will share his wealth with you. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.